My dear, listen to it carefully. 3 destroyed pennies that could make you rich, you'll never guess. Are these old, worn-out pennies hiding a fortune? Face with monocle. In this video, we reveal the top 3 most valuable worn-out wheat pennies that could be worth $8,500, 000 or more, even in bad condition. From pitted copper coins to damaged mint errors, each penny tells a story full of history, mystery, and shocking collector value. Movie camera, whether you're a lifelong coin collector or just found an old wheat penny in your pocket change, this video is for you. Every 20 seconds brings a new surprise, hidden error, or high-value detail you won't believe exists on these beat-up coins. The year was 1948. America stood at the beginning of a brand-new era. The war was over, families were rebuilding their lives, and cities across the nation buzzed with hope and ambition. Deep inside the Denver Mint, giant machines thundered endlessly as glowing copper blanks were stamped into Lincoln Wheat Pennies. Millions of these coins poured into circulation, slipping into pockets, cash registers, and piggy banks across the country. But hidden among those ordinary pennies was a coin that decades later would become a legendary collector's dream, the mysterious 1948 VDB Wheat Penny. At first glance, the 1948 VDB Wheat Penny appears small and unimportant. Most people would never think twice about it. But hidden inside that tiny copper coin is a powerful connection to American history, survival, and hidden fortune. The little D mint mark beneath the date reveals it was created in Denver, one of the great United States mint facilities responsible for producing millions of coins during America's post-war expansion. The front of the coin proudly displays Abraham Lincoln, a symbol of courage, leadership, and unity. On the reverse side stand 2 beautiful wheat stalks surrounding the words, 1 cent, creating one of the most iconic coin designs in American history. The rich copper color gave the coin warmth and beauty that modern coins simply do not carry. Even after decades, many collectors still feel amazed by the classic appearance of these old wheat pennies. Back in 1948, 1 penny still had real value in everyday life. Children carried wheat pennies to buy candy, comic books, soda, or bubblegum. Workers kept them rattling inside their pockets after long shifts in factories and railroads. Families counted every cent carefully while building better lives after years of hardship and war. Nobody imagined those same pennies would someday become valuable collector treasures searched for all over the world. What makes the 1948 VDB Wheat Penny so fascinating is the mystery hidden inside ordinary change. Most of these coins became heavily worn through decades of circulation. Their copper surfaces darkened, their details faded, and many disappeared forever. But a small number somehow survived in astonishing condition with sharp details and glowing original color. These rare survivors became highly desirable among collectors because they preserved history almost perfectly. Collectors especially dream about finding red examples of the 1948 VDB Wheat Penny. Copper naturally changes color over time, so discovering a coin that still shines with fiery original red surfaces after so many decades feels almost impossible. These brilliant coins stand out immediately under the light, creating excitement among collectors who know how rare such preservation truly is. Imagine opening an old family coin collection hidden away for generations and suddenly spotting the date 1948 with a tiny D beneath it. Your pulse begins racing. Your hands tremble slightly as you hold the penny closer to the light. Could this simple 1-cent coin actually be special? That possibility is what makes coin collecting feel like treasure hunting. Hidden fortune may already be sitting unnoticed inside someone's drawer or jar. Experts carefully examine every detail of the 1948 VDB Wheat Penny using magnification and bright lights. They study the sharpness of Lincoln's portrait, the quality of the lettering, and the smoothness of the surfaces. Tiny differences matter enormously. One small increase in condition can dramatically raise value, turning an ordinary-looking penny into a highly sought-after collector piece. Some rare 1948 VDB Wheat Pennies also contain minting errors created accidentally during production. Doubled lettering, weak strikes, and unusual imperfections can transform a normal coin into a legendary collectible. Error coins are exciting because they were never meant to exist. Somehow they escaped the mint and survived through generations, becoming accidental treasures hidden among common pennies. The emotional power of the wheat penny goes far beyond money. Holding a 1948 VDB Wheat Penny feels like touching another chapter of American history. This tiny copper coin witnessed the rise of television, the growth of post-war suburbs, and the beginning of the modern American dream. Every surviving penny carries invisible memories from the people who once spent it during those hopeful years. Even today, many old wheat pennies remain hidden in estate sales, flea markets, antique shops, and forgotten piggy banks. Most people overlook them because they seem too ordinary to matter. But experienced collectors understand an important truth: the greatest treasures often hide in plain sight. A single lucky discovery can transform an ordinary day into the thrill of a lifetime. As time passes, high-quality 1948 D wheat pennies become harder and harder to find. Years of circulation, damage, and corrosion destroy countless old coins. That means surviving examples with beautiful surfaces and strong details become increasingly valuable every year. Collectors compete fiercely for the finest pieces because once they disappear into private collections, they may not reappear for decades. The legend surrounding the 1948 D wheat penny continues growing because people are fascinated by the idea that a tiny copper coin could secretly hold extraordinary value. It represents mystery, survival, and opportunity all at once. A coin once spent on candy or soda could now capture worldwide attention simply because it survived history. The wheat penny itself became one of the most beloved American coins ever created. Its design symbolized growth, strength, and prosperity during some of the nation's most important years. That emotional connection keeps collectors searching endlessly through old coins, hoping to discover a hidden masterpiece from another era. So before you ignore another old penny sitting at the bottom of a jar or hidden inside an old collection, stop and look carefully. Search for the date 1948 and the tiny D mint mark beneath it. Examine the wheat stalks on the back and the copper shine under the light. Because somewhere out there, a rare 1948 D wheat penny may still be waiting to be discovered. And for the lucky person who finds it, that tiny coin could become far more than money. It could become history, mystery, excitement, and the discovery that changes everything forever. Next up. The year was 1958, a powerful moment in American history when the nation was filled with confidence, booming industries, shiny automobiles, and dreams of the future. Families gathered around television sets, diners glowed with neon lights, and deep inside the Denver Mint, giant machines thundered day and night, creating millions of Lincoln Wheat Pennies. Those tiny copper coins spilled into banks and cash registers across America, completely unnoticed by the people spending them every day. Yet hidden among those ordinary coins was a legendary treasure that decades later would capture the attention of collectors everywhere: the mysterious 1958 D wheat penny. At first glance, the 1958 D wheat penny looks simple and ordinary. Abraham Lincoln's portrait appears on the front while two wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent on the reverse side. Beneath the date sits the tiny D mint mark showing the coin was created in Denver. Most people never paid attention to that little letter. But collectors know that sometimes the smallest details can unlock extraordinary value and hidden history. What makes the 1958 D wheat penny so special is the timing of its creation. This coin was born during the final years of the famous wheat penny design. Soon after, the United States Mint would replace the wheat stalk reverse with the Lincoln Memorial design, ending an era that had lasted for nearly 50 years. That means the 1958 wheat penny became one of the final chapters in one of America's most beloved coin series. The copper glow of the 1958 D wheat penny gives it a beauty modern coins cannot match. Back then, pennies were made primarily from copper, giving them a warm reddish shine that collectors still admire today. When a rare example survives with bright original color untouched after decades, it becomes highly desirable. These are known as red wheat pennies, and they can create enormous excitement among collectors because copper naturally darkens with age. Back in 1958, nobody imagined these pennies could someday become valuable collectibles. Children carried them to candy stores. Families dropped them into piggy banks. Workers jingled them inside their pockets after long days on the job. Millions of these coins traveled through gas stations, movie theaters, grocery stores, and restaurants across America. They were part of everyday life, blending quietly into history without anyone realizing their future importance. What makes the 1958 D wheat penny fascinating is the mystery hidden inside ordinary circulation. Most examples became scratched, worn, and faded through decades of use. Many disappeared forever. But a few somehow survived in astonishing condition with strong details, smooth surfaces, and blazing red color. These rare survivors became treasures in the coin collecting world because they preserved the beauty of the coin exactly as it appeared when first minted. Collectors carefully study every detail of the 1958 VDB Wheat Penny under bright lights and magnification. They inspect Lincoln's portrait, the sharpness of the lettering, and the condition of the surfaces. Tiny differences matter enormously. A single step higher in grade can multiply the value dramatically. That is why collectors spend years learning how to identify exceptional coins hidden among ordinary pennies. Some of the most exciting stories surrounding the 1958 wheat penny involve rare double die errors. These coins display dramatic doubling in the lettering and numbers caused by mistakes during the minting process. Error coins like these were never supposed to exist, making them incredibly desirable. When collectors discover rare doubled varieties, excitement spreads instantly because such coins become legendary pieces of American coin history. Imagine opening an old jar of coins passed down through generations and suddenly spotting the date 1958 with a tiny D mint mark beneath it. Your pulse begins racing. Your fingers tighten carefully around the penny as you hold it closer to the light. Could this small copper coin actually hold extraordinary value? That possibility is exactly what makes coin collecting feel like treasure hunting. The emotional power of the wheat penny goes far beyond money. Holding a 1958 VDB Wheat Penny feels like touching another era of American life. This tiny coin witnessed the rise of rock and roll, the beginning of the space race, and the growth of modern suburbia. Every surviving penny carries invisible memories from the people who once spent it during one of America's most optimistic periods. Even today, old wheat pennies continue appearing in flea markets, estate sales, antique stores, and forgotten family collections. Most people still overlook them completely because they seem too common to matter. But experienced collectors understand something important. Hidden fortune often disguises itself as something ordinary. A single lucky discovery can change everything in one unforgettable moment. As years continue passing, high-quality 1958 VDB wheat pennies become harder and harder to find. Time destroys coins through corrosion, cleaning, scratches, and circulation damage. That means surviving examples with original surfaces and beautiful color become increasingly valuable every year. Collectors compete fiercely for the finest pieces because once they disappear into private collections, they may not return to the market for decades. The wheat penny itself became one of the most iconic coins in American history. Abraham Lincoln's portrait symbolized leadership and strength, while the wheat stalks represented prosperity and growth. For nearly half a century, these pennies traveled through the hands of ordinary Americans during moments of joy, struggle, celebration, and survival. That emotional connection is one reason collectors love them so deeply. The legend of the 1958 VDB Wheat Penny continues growing because people are fascinated by the idea that a tiny copper coin could secretly hold enormous value. It reminds us that history does not always survive in museums or giant monuments. Sometimes it survives quietly inside small forgotten objects waiting for someone curious enough to notice them. So before you ignore another old penny hidden in a drawer or lying at the bottom of a dusty jar, stop and take a closer look. Search carefully for the date 1958 and the tiny D mint mark beneath it. Examine the famous wheat stalks on the back and the copper glow under the light. Because somewhere out there, a rare 1958 VDB wheat penny may still be waiting to be discovered. And for the lucky person who finds it, next up. The year was 1954, a time when America was rising into a new age of power, industry, and dreams. Giant chrome cars rolled down busy highways, diners glowed with neon lights, and families gathered around black and white televisions every evening. Deep inside the Denver Mint, massive minting machines thundered day and night, stamping millions of Lincoln Wheat Pennies from shining copper blanks. To ordinary people, these pennies seemed worthless and common. But hidden among those coins was a mysterious treasure that decades later would capture the imagination of collectors around the world, the legendary 1954 VDB Wheat Penny. At first glance, the 1954 VDB Wheat Penny looks simple and ordinary. Abraham Lincoln appears proudly on the front, while two wheat stalks surround the words 1 cent on the reverse side. Beneath the date rests the small D mint mark showing the coin was created in Denver. Most people never paid attention to that tiny letter. Yet collectors know that one small detail can separate an ordinary penny from a coin carrying extraordinary history and hidden value. The copper composition of the 1954 VDB Wheat Penny gives it a rich reddish glow unlike modern coins. Back then, pennies were made mostly from copper, creating a warm appearance collectors still admire today. Some rare examples somehow survived with bright original red color untouched by time. These are known as red wheat pennies, and they are among the most desired because copper naturally darkens over decades. A blazing red wheat penny from 1954 feels almost frozen in time. In 1954, nobody imagined these pennies would become collector treasures. Children carried them to candy stores, movie theaters, and soda fountains. Workers kept them in their pockets after long shifts in factories and rail yards. Families saved them in jars and piggy banks without realizing they were storing pieces of future history. Millions of these pennies traveled across America, quietly becoming part of everyday life. What makes the 1954 VDB Wheat Penny so fascinating is the mystery surrounding high-quality survivors. Most coins from that era became heavily worn through decades of circulation. Their surfaces scratched, their details faded, and many disappeared forever. But a small number somehow survived in extraordinary condition with sharp details, smooth surfaces, and beautiful original shine. These rare survivors became treasures in the world of coin collecting. Collectors spend years studying the smallest details of the 1954 VDB Wheat Penny. They inspect Lincoln's portrait under bright lights, examine the sharpness of the lettering, and search for strong original color. Tiny differences matter enormously. One small improvement in condition can dramatically increase value, turning an ordinary-looking penny into a highly sought-after collector piece. Some of the most exciting discoveries involve rare minting errors connected to the 1954 VDB Wheat Penny. Certain coins display doubled letters, unusual strikes, or strange imperfections caused accidentally during production. Error coins are especially exciting because they were never supposed to exist. Somehow they escaped the mint and survived through generations, becoming accidental treasures hidden among common pennies. Imagine opening an old family coin collection untouched for decades and suddenly spotting the date 1954 with a tiny D beneath it. Your heartbeat quickens instantly. Your fingers tighten carefully around the coin as you hold it closer to the light. Could this simple copper penny actually hold incredible value? That possibility is what makes coin collecting feel like treasure hunting. Hidden fortune may already be sitting unnoticed inside someone's home. The emotional power of the wheat penny reaches far beyond money. Holding a 1954 VDB Wheat Penny feels like touching another chapter of American life. This tiny coin witnessed the rise of rock and roll music, the expansion of suburbs, and the early years of the space race. Every surviving penny carries invisible memories from the people who once spent it during one of America's most hopeful eras. Even today, old wheat pennies continue appearing in flea markets, estate sales, antique stores, and forgotten jars. Most people ignore them completely because they seem too common to matter. But experienced collectors understand an important truth: the greatest treasures often hide in plain sight. One lucky discovery can turn an ordinary afternoon into an unforgettable moment. As the years continue passing, high-quality 1954 VDB Wheat Pennies become harder to find. Time destroys coins through wear, corrosion, cleaning, and damage. That means surviving examples with beautiful surfaces and original shine become even more desirable every year. Collectors compete fiercely for the finest pieces because once they disappear into private collections, they may not appear again for decades. The wheat penny design itself became one of the most iconic symbols in American coin history. Abraham Lincoln represented leadership, courage, and unity, while the wheat stalks symbolized growth and prosperity. For generations, Americans carried these coins through moments of joy, struggle, celebration, and survival. That emotional connection keeps collectors fascinated with wheat pennies even today. The legend of the 1954 VDB Wheat Penny continues growing because people are captivated by the idea that a tiny 1-cent coin could secretly hold enormous value. It reminds us that history does not only survive in giant monuments or museums. Sometimes it survives quietly inside small forgotten objects, waiting for someone curious enough to discover them. Many collectors believe the true thrill is not just about money but about discovery itself. The possibility that treasure could still hide inside everyday change creates endless excitement. Rare wheat pennies have been discovered in old drawers, dusty jars, antique shops, and inherited collections. One simple moment of curiosity can completely change someone's life forever. So before you ignore another old penny lying at the bottom of a drawer or hidden inside a dusty jar, stop and look carefully. Search for the date 1954 and the tiny D mint mark beneath it. Examine the famous wheat stalks on the back and the warm copper shine under the light. Because somewhere out there, a rare 1954 D wheat penny may still be waiting to be discovered. And for the lucky person who finds it, that tiny coin could become far more than money. It could become a powerful piece of history, a collector's dream, and the discovery that changes everything forever.